Ticket.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Hey, it's Jake Sorensen. Join us for Early Break this Thursday from 6 to 9 a.m. at the brand new Residence Inn at 9th and R in the Haymarket. We'll showcase the brand new hotel and preview its grand opening. That's Early Break this Thursday from 6 to 9 a.m. at the Residence Inn at 9th and R in the Haymarket.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Lights out? Let LES know where to go. Powerline matches your phone number to your service address so LES can respond to outages faster. Keep your information up to date at les.com/powerline.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and the hail sale has been a huge success, but is winding down. We still, though, have several units with huge discounts. Plus, we have brand new Sierras, $14,000 off list, or starting at $37,105, or 0.9% APR on select new models. Yes, you heard right. $14,000 off or 0.9% APR on new Sierras starting at $37,105. So please check us out at cobblecars.com. All deals with roof credit, stock number G289358.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in to Ticket Weeknights. Harrison Arens on the ones and twos. We got Jeffrey Calhoun to my left, and up next we'll have another ticket producer joining me. We'll have Tristan Gomez. But for this hour, if you guys want to join with us, 402-464-5685. That is the Sartor Heyman text line. Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo, channel 961. All great ways to put a face to the voice. With that being said, though, we're going to dive into it. Not sure how much has been covered today, but Wimbledon has been unreal. I won't lie to the public and say I'm super locked into the sport. But we've had some chaos. Just to put the idea out there of how chaotic it's been. 8 top 10 seeds, 4 women and 4 men were eliminated during the first 2 days of play, setting the record for the most ever at a major in the open era. It's also the first time 2 of the top 3 women lost in the opening round of the slam in the open era. And you have 4 of the top 10 on the men's side and 4 on the top 10 of the women's side. And I believe got even crazier today because this article was 22 hours ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's been absolutely nuts. And Harrison, I'm with you. Like, I'm not gonna lie and say that I'm the most locked in person to tennis that there is. But when I saw that Coco Gauff lost to the 42nd ranked player in the world, my ears kind of perked up a little bit.
Yeah, and we should point out these upsets. It's not like some of these. It's like, oh, you lost to the 12 seed or the 9 seed. Like, no. 42.
Yeah, like it is a big jump. I mean, they rank by points, and to put it in perspective, Coco Gauff coming into Wimbledon had 7,899 points, and then Diana Yastremska, the Ukrainian tennis player that beat her, had 1,306 points. So, I mean, quick math, that's a sixth of the points that she has. And then, yeah, as you said, that article was 22 hours ago. And then you look at it today, Paolini out of Italy, the 4 seed, she lost to, I apologize if I butcher a lot of these names, but Rakhimova out of, I believe, Russia. And then the 5 seed, I'm blanking on the name for who that is. I'm trying to find that right now, but she lost in the first round, either early this morning, yesterday with time zones. It can get interesting on how they officially classify the articles, but yeah, Zhang out of China, she lost as well. So, I mean, it's been...
And she was that 5 seed.
Yeah, she was that 5 seed, and she lost to Sinikova, who I believe is from Czechia, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and she lost in a 3. And again, she just won an Olympic gold medal as well. 22-year-old Zhang out of China. So I don't know what it is in the tennis world, but it does feel like, and when I've been learning into it, it's contagious. Feels like when you're out there, as soon as you have a few of the top seeds start dropping, the messages have been like, if you're seeded, beware of leaving the locker room.
Well, it was funny between Gauff losing and everything that happened today. Sabalenka, the only top 5 seed remaining, came out in an interview and said, "I really hope there's no more upsets," which is just like hilarious. Like, it's a good attitude to have, and so far she's been safe. She has made it to the 3rd round, but it's going to keep getting harder and harder.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, we have been used to an era where there's been a pretty clear one. And then on the men's side, we got to a point where it was going a little bit back and forth, but you still knew who those guys were. For the women's side, obviously, until Serena Williams was ready to be, like, she's just dominated every single time out there. And feels like that maybe if it's just this crazy of a year, an anomaly year, or if we're going to see more of this pattern in years to come.
It's going to be really interesting to see. I mean, and I've never seen something like this happen. And, at least on the United States tennis side, like, it's not even, I feel like, it's like a player that just randomly had a Cinderella year and got to the top 5. Like, no, like, this is Coco Gauff. Like, she is now, like, she is becoming the standard for United States tennis, and she gets dropped immediately. And what's really interesting is, on the men's side, like, I didn't even fully realize how crazy it was, frankly, because I think it's gotten overshadowed by how crazy the women's side has been. Yes, you've had 4 top 10 seeds lose, but only one of those was in the top 5. And then on the women's side, all 4 of those top 10 seeds are top 5 seeds as well. So, I mean, it's just a complete overshadowing of headlines. I mean, on both ends of it, it has been nuts. And I don't know, like, this tournament's getting me ready to wake up at 5 a.m. and pop on ESPN Plus. Because, like, I'm getting interested in how this has all gone down.
Yeah, there's certain sporting events that just get so chaotic, everybody tunes in. So hopefully this is a moment for Wimbledon, too, to grow as a sport. It feels like, I could be wrong on this, feels like they lost a little bit of luster. But this right here, I mean, this is breaking the surface again on just crazy upsets. But that being said, that's all I really got to add to it. I just want to point out the craziness going on in Wimbledon.
Yeah.
You got anything off that?
No, I mean, that's really the big thing. There's a lot of speculation onto, like, why this is happening. Some people are saying the weather. Some people are saying the grass. Like,
I just think it's contagious. I really do.
I mean, I don't think there's ever one silver bullet. Like, I mean, Sports Illustrated in their article really harped on like, it was like, Coco Gauff lost on the grass and she's 27-13 on all time on the grass. This is her worst on any playing surface. And I don't know, like, honestly, my first thought when I read that was like, okay, this is the same type of dialogue we saw with Nebraska in 95 when they went down and played Florida. Like, it was a huge deal about the grass. And I'm like, I don't know. I just, in any sport, I don't know if playing surface makes that big of a difference.
When you get to that level, they've played on it before.
Yeah.
And so is their opponent. So that's kind of where I thought. If they're both playing on the same grass, like maybe it's a big time advantage, but like you don't get to become, Coco Gauff without at some point winning some matches on those fields, and you've practiced on it before. So maybe it's the grass. I'm not super into that argument because again, I think you can have upsets happen, and then when an upset happens, you're just looking for reasons not to give the opponent credit.
Exactly. And like Gauff is younger than I am, which makes me feel some kind of way about my accomplishments. But like, she's 21 and she's played on grass 40 times. So you already have a super big sample size. And, basic statistics, the more you play, the more it's going to even out. And you're right. Like, okay, if it's worse for this one player, why is that an excuse for them, but not an excuse for this other player winning? And I'm just like, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, exactly. It's that part. It's an advantage for them. Therefore, they don't get the credit for it because they play better on the. Even if that's the case, which, maybe it is true, maybe it's not. It's still not a great reason to take any credit away from the opponent.
No.
Also, why I think it's just contagious. If you're a high seed, and again, you see number 2 go down to 42 pretty early, you're all of a sudden sitting there thinking like, you see it. It's in the back of your mind, and then you see it again, and then you see it again, and then pretty soon it's just in your head that all these matches are going to be close. And I don't want to say the confidence level goes down, but the confidence level of the opponents goes up tremendously.
And I think the more individualized you get in a sport, the more you do kind of freak out about this because, and especially like you talked about with the, with the lower seeded ones. You saw this Ukrainian athlete that's, not even sniffing the top 25, take down one of the best players in the world in round 1. And it wasn't super close. I think
it was under an hour.
Yeah, it was in
58 minutes, I want to say.
Yeah, it was 7-6 and then 6-1. Like she didn't let up. Like, and Jastromenska, she's got her next matchup tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Against, I want to see who her, just out of blatant curiosity now. So she plays Azarenka, I believe is how you pronounce it, who is ranked. Where is Azarenka ranked? She is ranked 87th. So still a pretty big gap there. But in any sport, like you still got to be careful. You sometimes see the team that pulls off the upset get overconfident and then get upset themselves.
Yep.
So we'll have to see. It's going to be really interesting to watch. But yeah, this has been crazy this year.
It's going to be fun to watch. And lucky for me, I don't, got to work in the morning. So I'll be able to sit in my couch comfortably and watch it. I do got to point out the Missouri Tigers hat is a bold choice for the show today for everyone who's watching the stream. We won't go into Missouri. Maybe we'll go into Missouri football later. But let's talk about the WNBA Commissioner's Cup. It's been won without Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Obviously, Indiana Fever, they get it done over the Lynx. And the way I understand it, I know you're locked into WNBA a lot more. It's basically just like the play-in tournament. Or excuse me, not the play-in tournament. The what mid-season tournament in the NBA.
Basically how it works is every team like plays against everyone in their division once. Those games all count towards the regular season games. I think especially because the divisions are uneven. And then the teams with the best 2 records will face off against each other. And that championship game does not count as a regular season game, but the winning team gets a $500,000 pool to split amongst their team. I'm not exactly sure how.
I think it's $500,000. The way I think I was reading, it's like the way that distributes out, it's like $30K, but then they also get cryptocurrency of like $110K with their partner, and then they distribute the $110K evenly as well. So you get the real money, and then you also, if you're fond of cryptocurrency, get some of that as well. Nice little treat for the WNBA mid-season, especially when you hear like the pay stuff. Great opportunity to make them extra money. I know you're locked into it. Is there another level of excitement? Does it hit the same way that the mid-season tournament hits? Is it better, worse, or about the same?
I would say it's a little bit better, honestly. I mean, especially I don't know if you watched any of the lives of the videos, but like the Fever were going crazy for.
Oh, yeah.
So that's one part of it. Two, just call a spade a spade. WNBA players aren't making as much money as NBA players.
And there's less games to be played.
Yeah, and there's less games to be played. So every victory counts more and every dollar counts more. I think the average salary for a WNBA player is about $78,000. I don't know the exact average number for the NBA, but I know it's a lot more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So making any kind of extra money, that's really helpful. Especially, I know the Caitlin Clarks and the Aaliyah Bostons of the world are getting a lot of money from other sponsorships, but some of those smaller players, they may not. So this is a nice little added paycheck for them.
It's also good to see, at least in my eyes, like the stands were full and also seemed like the viewership was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? Like Caitlin Clark wasn't playing.
No.
So is she fantastic for the sport? 100%. But it is showing like, just because she's not playing, the Fever are still going to bring in a good audience and their opponent's going to bring a good audience. And the lives were pretty funny afterwards. I'll be curious to see, with the lives, if they just keep letting players do that. But nonetheless, shout out to the Fever for getting it done. Is there any ramifications postseason, or is it just the money?
It's just, it's really just the money.
Okay.
I will say one kind of interesting thing I've seen talked about is, the last two teams that lost the Commissioner's Cup went on to win the league. And it has only happened one time. I believe it was the 2022 Aces, where a team has won both the Commissioner's Cup and the WNBA championship. So it's really not a projector at all of who's going to win the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like, especially, the Fever, they just kind of make me laugh this year because I know this game didn't count towards regular season standings, but Commissioner's Cup games, the Fever have been 5-1, and non-Commissioner Cup games, they were 4-8. And like, what's really funny is, they went lightning in a bottle, ran through everyone, took down the undefeated Liberty in their Commissioner Cup run. And then there's a few games in between, the Commissioner's Cup series and then the championship game. They lost to both the Aces and the Sparks, who are not that great of teams. And I was like, oh, okay, it looks like they're going to get demolished by the Lynx. And then they beat them by 15. So I'm not sure what kind of pep talk you gave in the Commissioner's Cup as opposed to everything else, but it worked. So we'll see how this goes. I still think the Lynx are the best team in the league.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say they're not right now, but the kind of a blessing in disguise if you're the Indiana Fever. Without Caitlin Clark, you got to figure out ways to get that offense up, and also if you're Caitlin Clark, maybe it's a sign to work on your efficiency a little bit as well in the turnovers. Because as great as Caitlin Clark is, some of those bad shooting nights can be pretty harmful, especially if she racks up quite a few turnovers. So for the Fever to learn how to win without her, fantastic. And then when she gets back in the fold, maybe take some of the pressure off and she's not forcing so many shots. She's going to take some crazy shots because she's that good. But I think having that trust in the team, seeing that team get a win like that over the Lynx, hopefully that can spark some more. I don't want to say she's a really good player, but the consistency is always the thing she's going to get flagged for until she fixes those numbers a little bit.
And that was something Ellie and I really talked about on Sunday because we went pretty in depth about MVP voting and how that's going to look. And as good as she is, both of us, and Ellie is the biggest Caitlin Clark fan you'll ever meet. Both of us kind of agreed that this is not the year for Clark to win the MVP, because one thing I really talk about is when I'm looking at MVP, it's important to think, how good would this team be if this player was removed?
Mm-hmm.
And the Fever have shown that they can do it without her. And I think that's a very good thing, because last year it did kind of feel like she was carrying a lot of the workload, but now with the addition of Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham, they're spreading the offense out a lot more. So Caitlin Clark, in the best way possible, is not as important. And I think she frankly likes that as much as anybody else.
Yeah, the amount of, she becomes a person to stop on a lot of nights. So if she can take some of that pressure off, the same thing with, you watch any NBA team, there's a reason why superstars like to play next to each other. Take some of the pressure off the other. You can play with two stars. And I think for the Fever, good for them. I'll be curious to see, when is Caitlin Clark coming back? She's still not available the next game, I believe, but she should be right around the corner.
I think it's pretty, because I think it was just like a groin strain. Like, it was nothing super serious. According to the WNBA's,
so I want to say they shut her down for Thursday, which would be their next one.
Caitlin Clark estimated return date is July 5th. So yeah, she won't be back in their game tomorrow.
Okay.
So she won't play against the Aces. So she's projected to be back against the Sparks on Saturday. She's officially listed as out, and it says has been ruled out for Thursday's game against the Aces. So she definitely won't be there. Probably Saturday is what we're looking at.
The other part about the WNBA too, and a little bit of a side tangent, where this not mid-season tournament, the Commissioner's Cup, it's great. You get that competitiveness. I think the WNBA can really thrive just the fact that they have that shorter season. Because you saw the competitiveness in the Commissioner's Cup. Well, I know I asked you, but I totally agree. I think the Commissioner's Cup was a way better product than the mid-season tournament. Mid-season tournament in the NBA feels like you get some teams that really care, and you get some teams that just, they're not in it that much.
Right.
WNBA felt like every team was at least going all out, try to get those wins. And, that extra money means a lot more to them than a lot of these NBA players. And I think that shortened season, you just get way more competitive regular season basketball. In the NBA, it's my biggest problem, but I also hate the idea of, I would never want to shorten the NBA regular season. You'd be messing with so many records. It'd just be a nightmare. And on top of that, it gets boring with the load management. It becomes I think it's deeper than just 82 games. But for the WNBA, do you ever want them to expand the season, or do you think it's in their favor to keep it short?
At the moment, I'd say no. I'm sure they're going to expand it more once there's more teams. But, and I didn't, you asked me yesterday why I had much more of an affinity for the WNBA. I didn't get to talk about this as much, but a big thing for me with sports, especially non-collegiate sports, is anytime it gets over 50 games, I kind of stop caring as much because it just feels like every game matters less. I love, the NFL because, it's like you look at the Vikings Lions game last year, that one game made or broke, their entire playoff standings. And so every little game matters, but then it's like and again, I completely agree with what you're saying about the NBA not shortening their season because it would mess with so many records. But it's like, the Thunder had one of the best records in NBA history. They still lost 14 games. You lose 14 games in the NFL, everyone's getting fired. And so I like that every game seems to matter more. And I'm sure they're going to expand the season. I mean, they expanded the season this year with the addition of the Valkyries. They jumped from 40 to 44 games. And with 5 more teams coming in the next 5 years, it's definitely going to go up. But I don't think they should be pushing 80, 90 games like the NBA does.
Yeah. And, they kind of fixed it with a play-in tournament to get teams more competitive that, could just tank at the end of the year knowing like we got no shot, but now you open up a little bit more. So you can get even that 10 seed in there. But again, in the same way, it ironically, once again, devalues the regular season.
Yep.
So while you maybe get some of those middle tier teams still gunning for it, if you have teams like the Warriors wouldn't be a good example. If you have teams like the Thunder or the Cavs or the Celtics, or the Nuggets, high seeded teams that know there are quite a few games ahead. This year in the West, it wasn't the case at all. I want to say record wise, they were all incredibly the same, 1 or 2 games apart. East was a different story. But, if you see that and you're not flirting around that playing spot, you can still pull the load management. And as great as a head coach Greg Popovich is, the Spurs way back in the day, Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, that's kind of where that started. Was end of the season, Spurs were really good. I don't really need to play these guys. And Greg Popovich was right, but as the years have gone on, we just see it more and more and more, even to the point where I'll never forget the Damian Lillard interview when he was in the locker room, Portland Trailblazers, and just blatantly said, I don't get to decide every game of mine. Sit out. It's a staff decision.
Yeah.
And you get into this weird balance of you see more Achilles injuries than feels like whatever. So is it 82 games too much, or is it the youth area that's causing the problems? Is it hurting the fan viewership? NBA's got a lot of problems, is what I'm saying right now. And this 82 game regular season has always worked, but there's been so many changes around it with the play-in tournament and how the players on the teams are more likely to use load management. If it's not the players, it's the staffs, and it just kind of hurts the product as a whole.
Well, and I mean, and it's honestly, it's what we were talking about with Wimbledon earlier. There's no one silver bullet. You can't be like, oh, let's shorten the game by 12 seasons. That'll solve everything. Or, oh, let's add or remove teams to the playoffs. That'll solve everything. No, there's a ton of different factors that are so different from, what basketball looked like in the 80s that are making this happen. So it's a bunch of small things. There's not going to be in any situation, not just in sports, but in life, there's not going to be one thing that solves everything. You're going to have to look at the broader picture.
Yep, and that's where a lot of my fears come from, is quick decisions, not necessarily looking at the broader picture. But we're over on the first segment here. Shout out John and Cortland as we're talking about Caitlin Clark earlier. Says huge potential, show up to compete, still a bit ball hungry, which is a little bit true there. So with that being said, you guys can always text in 402-464-5685. We'll throw it to break. We'll talk some college football on the other side.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day. It'll be breezy and hot with an afternoon high near 93. Tonight, mainly clear skies and a light breeze, a low around 71. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies. It'll be breezy and hot again with a high near 94. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fleck for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Attention baseball and softball players. The Nebraska Dominators are looking to add players to their baseball and softball teams for the 2026 season. Tryouts are happening now for all age groups, ranging from 7 years old to 14 and under for baseball and 7 years old to 18 and under for softball. Visit the Nebraska Dominators Facebook page for more information today.
Hey there, this is Paul Shield, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Breathe easier inside your home with Bryant. Eliminate allergens and odors and control humidity too. For a breath of fresh air, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Harrison Arens on the ones and twos. We got Jeffrey, my co-host for this hour, to my left. And again, you guys can join in, Starter Heyman text line or via any of the streams. This segment, we're going to be talking about college football sleepers, teams that maybe can make a championship run that aren't your Ohio States or even your Penn State. We'll talk about some of the schools that maybe aren't on top of the radar. First one on the board, BetMGM odds actually has them 20-1 preseason, LSU. And a lot of that is because their transfer class. They loaded up on that transfer class. They got defensive lineman Patrick Payton and Jack Pyburn, Florida. Who else did they get? They already got a couple gifted quarterbacks. Obviously, Garrett's going to be starting there again. With LSU, where are you at with those guys? They killed it in the best transfer recruiting class. And on top of that, you got Brian Kelly out there.
My thing with LSU is they are becoming one of those teams where I don't care what you do in the offseason. You have to show me on the field. Because, you're completely right. They did kill it in the transfer portal. 2 years ago, they had the Heisman Trophy winner, and they went to the ReliaQuest Bowl. So, it's one of those teams where it's okay, cool, you do a good job in the this 2023 team had Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors, and they lost to Florida State, they lost to Ole Miss, they lost to Alabama. Really, their only good win on the season was at Mizzou. But besides that, their best win was Texas A&M.
You're banking on the defense to be better. And that's why you really like the transfer portal class, because that defense has to be better.
Oh, 100% it does. And I completely agree with that. But then, it's even, you look at last year, and even they had some games where they had solid defensive performances.
Give me some of the bad losses on there.
USC's a bad one to open the season, 27-20. And then Florida in Gainesville, 27-16. And that one, that one's really ugly because they only allowed 27 points to one of, if not the, because I believe Lagway. Yeah, I believe Lagway started that game. So one of, if not the best freshman quarterbacks in the country, and you only allowed 27 points, and you still lose by double digits. And it's okay, this is a team, kids want to go to LSU. They have one of the best stadiums in the country. They have some of the best culture in the country. And you're still not even making a New Year's Six Bowl. And I just, I get what you're saying about the transfer portal. I
see it to believe it.
100%. Until I see them winning these games, because they seem to always, put together these solid seasons and then choke at the last second. 2022, I think of as a prime example. They had Daniels, they beat Alabama, things are going crazy. Then they lose to 4-7 Texas A&M. And, next year, their schedule, it ain't exactly a cakewalk. They got at Clemson, they got at Ole Miss, they got at Vanderbilt.
At Clemson, I think, is lost right off the rip.
Their road schedule is Clemson, Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, Alabama, Oklahoma. That is a gauntlet on the road.
Yeah, but you give them Vandy.
Maybe. Bama didn't fare very well in Nashville.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what happens. I feel like Vanderbilt's I don't want to call last year a fluke, but I think they'll fall a little bit more into the mean. I think Vanderbilt's a better program. I don't think they'll be able to replicate. Diego Pavia, not just being biased here, he is a really good quarterback, but at the same time, that Alabama game took him to a new threshold. He played phenomenal.
He played amazing.
Game. And if he can keep up that consistency, then Vanderbilt's got a shot. But just talent-wise, defensively, if they're playing some of these powerhouses, is Diego Pavia going to be great enough to be in some of those shootouts? That we used to see between. Why am I blanking on it? It was the craziest shootout between Baker Mayfield.
It was Baker and Mahomes.
Yeah,
it was
the shootout. Yeah, and it was just that was insanity.
1,400 total yards, something like that. That was nuts.
Probably one of the best college football games
that was awesome.
To this day that I've witnessed. That and the Auburn returning the Alabama field goal where they were just way too short. Yeah. Iconic games, but I don't think Vanderbilt is going to be capable of that, and I don't think their defense is going to be good enough to keep a great team like we mentioned. I think Clemson, and we'll keep moving on this list here because Clemson is the next team. BetMGM odds, they got 13-1. And we talked about Clemson before. They got a good group of guys coming back. Again, the biggest thing for Clemson, Dabo Swinney just bullying kids in the ACC.
And that's Clemson is one that I'm going to drink the Kool-Aid of because especially with the new playoff format, they showed it last year. All you got to do is win the conference. And they did that last year. They have shown that, they are even in their down years, the ACC runs through them. That 2021 season when they went 10-3 and it was the most disappointing season Dabo's had in a long time, they still won 10 games and bullied Wake Forest, who went to the ACC championship. And you look at the schedule, like they can afford a loss or two. And I think we're going to learn a lot about this team early because their hardest 3 games in the ACC, I think, are their first 3 games because they got at Georgia Tech, Syracuse, and then at North Carolina. I think those are going to be the toughest ones. Then you have at Louisville later in the season, but I mean, they don't have a super bad draw in the ACC. They dodge Pitt, they get SMU at home, they dodge Miami. Like, it's not going to be tough. And even if they lose to South Carolina, like they did last year, it's not a conference game. They can go to the conference championship, still win it. Clemson is a team that I think will be making a return to the playoffs. So I like them a lot.
I think so too. I just think right now, out of all the conferences to be in, if you're worried about money, no. If you're worried about winning, yes. Like, they're in a perfect situation. And I've always been a big fan of Dabo Swinney.
Yeah.
Like, I've had, slivers of doubt, but I've always thought, like, he's a fantastic head coach, and Clemson would be wrong to get rid of him. And obviously, they haven't. He's still coaching down there. We got about a few minutes left here. Next team on the list, Michigan. This is the team that, well, I don't know how to feel about it at all. You got the weird start where you're going to have more for games 1 and 2, and then you'll sit out for. Is he sitting out 2 games or 3 games?
I think it's 3.
And that starts, after Oklahoma, obviously, because he wants to have his big hoorah at his alma mater. But the biggest thing for them is how good can their freshman quarterback be?
Right.
True freshman.
And I just fact checked. It's only 2 games.
Okay.
So I am trying to see if it's been confirmed which 2 it's going to be. But I think you're right. I think it is right after Oklahoma. Yeah, I think it's going to be the 2 following Oklahoma. But Michigan, I mean, Michigan is a weird case.
Beat Alabama at the end of the year. They beat the champion at the end of the year.
I mean, and that's the thing is I like Sharon Moore a lot. I think he was the best option for their head coach. And last year, I mean, they really didn't have any bad losses. I mean, that Washington one was a bit of a blemish, but besides that, they didn't lose to a single team that had less than 10 wins. And Washington still hasn't lost a home game since 2022, maybe 2021. Like, they, despite being 6-7 last year, like, they didn't lose a game in Seattle. So that still is not a terrible loss. And, next year, the schedule is a little tough, but I mean, you dodge Oregon. That's the big one. You dodge Penn State. You dodge Indiana, who is a question mark, but, is still probably going to be solid. You dodge Illinois. Really, the hard teams you got to play, Ohio State, obviously, and then at USC, that could just be tough because of how far away it is, but their schedule is not bad. This is a team that,
to me, it just falls on the quarterback. How good can you be?
Yeah.
Because that was their only problem last year was, their offense just didn't have a quarterback that they fully trusted. And it is a position where you don't even have to do a lot. Like, if you remember JJ McCarthy on Michigan, everyone thought his draft stock was low because he wasn't doing a lot. He looked like this is very vanilla. You're not being asked to do a lot. Well, he didn't need to.
Yeah, that was always my thing. And it made me really angry. People were like, oh, JJ McCarthy's a handoff merchant. He's not good. I'm like, when you have Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum in the backfield, why would you throw the ball?
Arguably one of the best offensive lines in the country, too.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't know if he's a good passer or not. If I'm Michigan, I don't want to find out. I hand the ball to one of the 2 best running backs in the country and let them do their thing. And guess what? They went 15-0. So I think it worked pretty well.
And when he did throw the ball, it looks pretty good. That's why he got drafted.
Exactly.
It's why you don't need to air it out. And, especially, it's like what Nebraska was so good at back in the day. We're going to run you to death. And then when you least expect it, throw one over the top.
Yeah.
And JJ McCarthy, obviously not to that near extent of how dramatic it was, our run and passing balance back in the day. But it's always a weird criticism for criticizing QBs for being game managers.
Yeah.
Like, for avoiding unnecessary risk. I would hope my starting QB does that. But Underwood, we'll have to see what he does. As a true freshman, I'm actually not going to drink the Kool-Aid on this because I think we saw that with Dylan Raiola. Like, to just go into the Big Ten, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And even if you're a 5-star, I mean, Dylan Raiola was working with Stafford. He was working with Mahomes. He was working with NFL guys his entire life. And it's still a big jump.
I think the thing that is going to be interesting is I think that next year we're going to see Michigan really go to their identity of run the football. However, a lot of the teams that they are playing are classic D-line football teams. You don't have, as I'm looking through this schedule, really the only teams that I'm seeing that favor their secondary and their pass defense more than their run defense are USC, and maybe Maryland. Like every other team, they're load the box kind of defenses. And so I think Michigan is going to struggle to find their identity. I think that honestly, and I'm not just saying this because we are a Lincoln radio station, I think that Nebraska game is going to be one of the most important games of the season, not just in the conference, but potentially in all of college football, because I think the loser of that game could be mediocre to kind of good. And I think the winner of that game puts themselves in the conversation for a playoff dark horse.
That's a good point too, with the defenses that they're going to be facing. Because again, they just go back to the quarterback. That's more pressure on you.
Yeah.
You know, if they're going to tell you like, all right, go prove it that you're this great quarterback and that everyone putting millions of dollars into the bucket is worth it. Like as a true freshman, and we saw that at times with Dylan Raylor when the offense was struggling. It's like we're leaning on him to make some big plays, and guess what happened? It was his worst stretch of the season.
Yeah.
You know, tough interceptions. You lose that sort of rhythm to the team because you get to this point where the defense are starting to dictate what plays you're able to call. Jeff Sims, we saw it to an extreme degree because we just could not throw the ball, and then it became a nightmare. Really for that entire stretch of season. So he's going to have a lot of pressure. I'm super curious, but I'm just not going to drink the Kool-Aid on just simply for the fact, true freshman quarterbacks. I saw it with Dylan Raylor. Like I do think if he does it and he just immediately shows up, that's an anomaly, regardless of how many stars he had walking in.
Yeah, I'm going to say cautiously optimistic. Out of the teams that we've put so far, I'd say like Clemson is the one I'm definitely highest on, and then razor thin margin, Michigan, and then LSU.
Okay, I'm actually on that same list right there.
Like
I'd take Michigan over LSU, but they're pretty close.
Yeah,
so I wouldn't really want to drink Kool-Aid on either two of those.
Clemson's really the only one that's like, oh yeah, I'm going all in on them.
All right, let's see. We got time for another one here. Not Missouri, but Mississippi. Bet MGM. I got them 25-1. I mean, I don't know. Ole Miss, I can't ever tell you. I'm so high on Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss every year, and it just feels like they have these major letdown games.
Yeah,
year in, year out.
They've kind of just been the almost team. It feels like
for a while.
You know, they were 10-3 last year, but if I'm reading through their schedule right, you know, they were 0-3 in one-score games. You know, granted, I understand if, you know, my aunt had wheels, she'd be a bike, but like you win your one-score games, you're undefeated. Like you're in the SEC championship, like, and you're in, like, even if you lose the SEC championship, you're in the playoffs, like no questions asked. And this is a team that's still like almost tripled up Georgia. Like this was a good team, but then
Jackson Dart at the quarterback. I mean, where are you at with him real quick? And we'll dive back into Ole Miss.
I don't really know. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he was overdrafted. I think that, you know, in a lot of ways, Lane Kiffin is the new generation's Mike Leach, both personality wise and in the way he runs a football team. You know, he's a little bit more unserious. He's a little more outlandish, and his offenses, that's never going to be the question. It's the matter of, can the defense really keep up? And when push comes to shove, are the late game defensive decisions going to be the best? And, you know, you look at that, the 2025 schedule, you know, in the SEC, they're just flipping home and away games. So that includes, you know, now you have to go on the road to Kentucky, which, you know, you already have that bad taste in your mouth from last year. And then listen to this stretch. And by the way, there's no bye weeks in this stretch. Washington State, who is now, you know, they're respectable. But then the big part, at Georgia, at Oklahoma, and then South Carolina, who always just randomly causes problems. And then you have a playable bye against the Citadel. But
and then South Carolina's got Sellers back as well. Like he's going to be a problem.
And then you have Florida. And I just, you know, that stretch from Washington State down to Florida, I don't trust that they can go 6-6 or maybe even 5-1 on that stretch. And knowing them, they're gonna randomly lose to a Tulane or an Arkansas or a Mississippi State on the road. Like, you know, I think this team very well could make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to, because I think they're gonna randomly choke away one game where it's like, what? How did you lose this? So
let's see. I'm looking up. So they're gonna have Austin Simmons be their guy. Sounds like.
Is he remind me? Is he a transfer? Or is he a?
Trying to figure out where, if he was drafted there or if he was. Here we go. Look up his history a little bit here. Okay, yeah. So he was just only on Ole Miss.
Okay.
So we're good there. and freshman. So he's going to have a lot. Ugh. I mean, maybe.
That's a lot of
It
pressure.
depends how much he learned under Jackson Dart. Ironically, I would still rather take Ole Miss over LSU. And
I would too.
Over LSU, but not Michigan. Like, that's where I'd put them.
Yeah.
Clemson, Michigan, Ole Miss, LSU.
I'm in the same boat, and I think a lot of it, frankly, comes down to coaching. Maybe this is a hot take. I like Sharon Moore as a coach more than I like Lane Kiffin. I think that he's not going to be as flashy, and the offenses may not be as good, but I think he understands how to run an entire football team more evenly and better, and I think that he is a better decision maker. And that's why, I can't think of a single ugly win for Ole Miss. Michigan beating Ohio State last year, that was an ugly win.
Yeah.
But guess what? It was a win. And I think that is really the line of a good head coach, is when you can win bad. And I don't see Lane Kiffin doing that. When the going gets tough and it gets bad, I think that's when he crumples.
Yeah, well, that's what the history would say. Unfortunately, same problem we have here, like Nebraska. Hopefully we fix that in the same way that Ole Miss hopes they can fix it this year. And but that being said, we're over the clock here, so we'll go ahead, throw it to our third and final break. Don't go anywhere. Harrison Arens, Jeffrey Calhoun. Talk to you in a little bit.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with pay starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Haymarket Park is buzzing with excitement this summer. Grab your crew and get in on the fun. Be sure to catch all the daily specials and promotions this season, like Thirsty Thursday, Fireworks Friday, Souvenir Saturday, Family Fun Day Sunday, plus special events and discounts all summer long. Don't miss out on the action as the Lincoln Salt Dogs take on their biggest rivals and knock the ball out of the park. Visit saltdogs.com and see this week's promotions and grab your tickets.
Hey, it's Jake Sorensen. Join us for early break this Thursday from 6 to 9 a.m. at the brand new Residence Inn at 9th and R in the Haymarket. We'll showcase the brand new hotel and preview its grand opening. That's early break this Thursday from 6 to 9 a.m. at the Residence Inn at 9th and R in the Haymarket.
Lights out? Let LES know where to go. Powerline matches your phone number to your service address so LES can respond to outages faster. Keep your information up to date at les.com/powerline.
Attention baseball and softball players. The Nebraska Dominators are looking to add players to their baseball and softball teams for the 2026 season. Tryouts are happening now for all age groups, ranging from 7 years old to 14 and under for baseball and 7 years old to 18 and under for softball. Visit the Nebraska Dominators Facebook page for more information today. An award-winning softball season deserves a celebration. Don't miss your chance to congratulate Jordy Ball in person. Join the team at Midwest Bank for a special meet and greet on July 16th at their Jamie Lane location as they recognize her incredible achievements. Bring your friends, your team spirit, and your favorite gear for Jordy to sign, and it all kicks off at 4 p.m. They can't wait to see you there. Get all the details at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank, member FDIC. A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. To honor the new store opening, A1 is offering $25 off any service over $300, $50 off services over $500, and $75 off services that total over $750, all through July 31st. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. A final segment. Ticket Weeknights. Arens, Jeffrey Calhoun. You guys can put any last-second comments, start him in text line, or any of the streams. Full circle here, wrapping things up with WNBA. Well, that happened during the WNBA. Red Panda. She goes down off the unicycle. Everybody's not familiar with Red Panda. I believe she's performed here at the University of Nebraska, Pinnacle Bank Arena. She goes to college basketball. She's done WNBA. She's done NBA. She's the lady that rides on the 8-foot-tall unicycle, bounces bulls on the head. Took a nasty fall.
Yeah. This is the worst news that I've ever received in my entire life ever.
It's one where you just feel really bad.
Yeah.
Like you just feel horrible because I don't know how old she is, but she's not like, in her 20s.
She's been doing this forever. I mean,
and then falling 8 feet down.
I want to say, let me see. Yeah, she was born in either 1970 or 1971. So she's in her 50s. She's been doing this forever. And the cool thing about her, I talked to you about this during the break, is like she, this isn't a woman who like exclusively is going to do like these huge events. Like, no, she did a Mizzou women's basketball game while I was there. And those games are not very highly attended, but like she also did game 5 of the NBA finals a few weeks ago. But yeah, article just came out from the Associated Press. ESPN reposted it. She suffered a broken wrist, spent 11 hours.
Oh, she did break her wrist.
Yeah, she broke her wrist. But it said she spent 11 hours in a Minnesota hospital with a pair of Link staffers with her the entire time. And it also said the fall was caused by part of her unicycle being damaged during transit. And when you have an 8-foot unicycle that you're riding around on a WNBA court, that's not going to go well. I mean, when it's damaged. So
she's still goated though, at least.
Yeah, no,
it wasn't even her fault.
Like that. No, yeah.
Broken bike.
Not even her fault. She's still the best. She's still S-tier halftime performer.
I wonder if she felt it beforehand. Like, what a terrible feeling that'd be when you're 8 foot up. If you can kind of feel like the seat or whatever part was malfunctioning.
You could, because I saw the replay of it.
She could feel. She looks shaky, and then all of a sudden she feels it, and then it's over.
And that's the thing is like when you're 8 feet up, there's not much you can do at that point. Like 8-foot unicycles don't have the best brake systems. And I can't remember if at that point she had the bulls up yet, but she's still, there's.
Luckily, she didn't have a ton of bulls. I want to say she was like starting to.
Yeah.
That would have been horrible if she had like 8 bulls on her head and then falling on the broken glass. But no, shout out. Luckily, she's not, she didn't lose consciousness or anything. But it might be the end of her career. I'd be curious to see if she goes on and does it again.
I will say, like the opening graph of this article said, "Good news, basketball fans. Red Panda intends to be ready for next season." So she is looking to be back. She's looking to be back.
All right, takes the injury and just gets right back up. Well, that's good news at the very least. Yeah. That's gonna wrap it up for me and Jeffrey. Appreciate you guys listening, but don't go anywhere. More Ticket Weeknights comes your way. I'll have Tristan Gomez join me for another hour. We'll talk some young QBs in the NFL as well as some more NBA. So don't go anywhere. Ticket Weeknights keeps rolling.